My name is Jinia, co-founder Catherine Vijay Syndrome Berhad.
Kitchen shop, we have a twin core philosophy. That is, whatever we sell in this shop, we believe that we should meet the twin pillar of one, it's healthy living. Secondly, it's everything we sell should also conserve energy.
For these past 32 years, I've traveled all over to different factories. Through all these travels, I realized that to have a quality cookware in the home is very important. We scour the world to look for the best brands in the market, in the world, in the global scene, and bring it back here to kitchen shop. All these kitchen tools have to make life easier in the kitchen, and you can find it all in the kitchen shop. Because we believed in selling direct to our customers, so the items are brought in and sell at a very affordable price. That's why the tagline of kitchen shop is called Pay Less for More. Pay less, but for more and better quality. The kind of pots we use is very important. So that's why, to me, I feel that we have to look for a safe pot. But what is a safe pot? Two important ingredients. Number one, it's what material is it made of. Number two is how it is made. In Malaysia, many of our food, we love spicy food, and the food is cooked with vinegar, cooked with asam or tamarind, and sometimes we use wine as well. And these ingredients are very acidic and could be very corrosive on the pot. So the kind of pots we use must be safe so that there is no corrosion and we do not absorb chemical into our body when we eat the food. Today, we would like to focus on La Gourmet, one of our better brands in the shop. We like that very much, so we do market and sell a lot of La Gourmet. And not only that, we have many happy customers and happy fans who came back to tell us why they love La Gourmet.
So today, I'm so proud to introduce someone who has been living in Asia for 9.5 years, in Malaysia for 5.5 years, and she came all the way from America, the beautiful and wonderful Cecilia.
Kind, thank you.
Today, I have invited her to share with you. What are you cooking today, and why did you choose, which two cook pots have you chosen?
Okay, thank you, Jean.
Yes.
Very kind introduction. Today I'm going to make a green bean casserole. I'm using the La Gourmet Eco Pan, and I'm going to make a pumpkin spinach soup using the cast iron series.
Could you show us what ingredients you're going to use?
Okay, green bean casserole is a very popular holiday dish, and traditionally it's made with something from a tin. You're trying to save time when you're cooking on the holidays, and a lot of times you just resort to stuff from a tin. Unfortunately, I mean, look at the color. Compare the color of these green beans versus those green beans, and this mushroom soup from a tin. Not only does it look unappetizing, you can't control the nutrients that are in it. There's a lot of sodium in tin food, and that's why I choose to make it from scratch. Now, I don't want to make my work, I want to work smarter, not harder. So that's why I chose the Eco Pan. We'll just we'll toss those away.
I wouldn't want
those today. No.
I will never eat these ever again.
No.
Yeah. What are the ingredients you're using? Could you just introduce?
Absolutely.
Yes.
So we're going to make a cream of mushroom base. First, I'm going to saute the mushrooms in just a little bit of oil. That's the other brilliant part about the Eco Pan is I can reduce the amount of oil in any recipe. Even though it's stainless steel, it doesn't have that traditional non-stick coating. Over the years of use with the Eco Pan, I've found that food simply doesn't stick. And then we're going to make, get the green beans nice and tender. You don't want to be eating a raw green bean. You want it to be nice and tender, but you also want it to be crisp, which is something you cannot do with a bean from a tin. You can't have that crispness that you're after. So we're going to do all of that in this one pan.
Great. Shall we roll on?
Okay, Jean, so I started by preheating the La Gourmet Eco Pan to a medium heat, and we're going to use grapeseed oil. That's our first ingredient today. Now, I've been able to reduce, this recipe normally calls for about 2 tablespoons of oil. Because of the non-stick natural properties of the stainless steel in the La Gourmet Eco Pan, I was able to reduce it to about a tablespoon.
That's why it allows you to cook like a non-stick effect.
Well, that's where the magic is then. I was wondering I use this product. I use it probably 3 or 4 times a week.
Yes.
The reality of living in Asia is I do have a helper who helps me cook sometimes. She always goes to this pan as well. She makes excellent nasi goreng, mee goreng, and she's able to do it in this pan without any sticking. So we're just going to saute this for about 8 minutes. Okay. What you want to do is you want to release the natural flavors of the mushroom and shrink it down. Now you see how the mushrooms have started to release their natural juices?
Yes, all the juice out. It's oozing out from the mushrooms.
And it's amazing because look at this. Nothing is sticking to the pan. Absolutely nothing is sticking to the pan. And you're able to reserve all of that lovely natural mushroom taste. And do you see how quickly and efficiently this was able to reduce the mushrooms? Normally, if you're going to use another pan, it would take probably twice the time. But this has done it so quickly, and I want to preserve these natural juices, so we're going to let this rest.
Smells really good.
We're going to let this rest while we start the rest of the process. So we're going to take this and transfer it to a pan.
But Sissy, could I just ask you, what kind of mushroom should we use?
These are brown button mushrooms.
Brown button mushrooms?
Yes. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're going to melt down some butter. I have started to use butter from grass-fed cows. We have become so afraid of butter these days.
Grass-fed cow butter.
Irish grass-fed butter is readily available here in Malaysia. It's not very expensive, so it's still very accessible. I'm going to turn up the heat on this a little bit. Just till I want to melt the butter, I want to get it nice and foamy. And once the foaming subsides, then we'll be able to go ahead and saute our onions. But back to the grass-fed butter, it has, again, what you're looking for is those good fats. So we're able to replace some oils that don't have those good fats that can lead to obesity and heart disease. So let's go back to cooking a little bit more like our grandmothers did. So we have this beautiful foaming color, and it has
It's foaming,
It's difficult to melt butter in a lot of pans because it turns brown really quickly. But with the La Gourmet Eco Pan, I have so much control.
Look at it, it's golden.
Absolutely, it's golden color, it's foaming beautifully. So I'm gonna go ahead and add my onions now. Listen to that perfect level of sizzle. A little bit brown on the edges, a little translucent color. So Jean has told me this is a Bakelite product, and I can hold this confidently and it doesn't heat up. I mean, look, I'm gripping it tight. It's been on the stove now for probably close to 10 minutes and it has not heated up. So I have a 5-year-old and a 3-year-old boy, and yes, they're in the kitchen too. I teach them, you must hold it, grip it tight, and then you stir. So that way you're not moving the pan and splashing the ingredients around. And with this La Gourmet Eco Pan, I can do that with all confidence. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna add some garlic. Garlic burns at a very low temperature, so we add it in last. We don't add it in right away with the onions because we don't want it to burn. If you burn garlic, it gives it a completely different flavor. Add in our flour. This is a tablespoon of flour, and it's going to help thicken our sauce. Again, flour in a pan can be very tricky when you don't have a liquid. But with the La Gourmet Eco Pan, as you can see, it's not sticking. And now we're going to add our thyme and bay leaves. I'm just going to chuck all of these in with the stems because I'm going to remove them at the time of eating. Now let's add our green beans. This is the star of this dish. We're going to add all of these in. We're just going to saute this for about 2 to 4 minutes. Makes the cooking a lot easier. I've added about a 3/4 of a cup of chicken broth, and I'm going to add probably the naughtiest ingredient. I used a light cooking cream. You can use heavy cream if you want to, but I opted for light just to reduce those calories and keep it healthier. But the rounded edges I prefer than the square edges of the traditional saute pan because It allows, you don't have to like get in there with your utensils. It's just a natural scraping, folding motion that I can utilize.
I'm glad. You see, you are really a natural cook. It's true. Why we make it curvy? So that it's easy for you to scrape your food.
That's right.
It's a natural flow rather than in a, what you call a horizontal and vertical shape.
That's right. The
It's
perpendicular
very
angle
yes,
is hard
yes,
to get
yes.
into.
Yeah.
The beauty of the La Gourmet Eco Pan is that it has this steam release knob. Instead of doing, you actually see in recipes where they ask you to vent the lid and you're doing this sort of weird balancing act. Instead of having to do that weird balancing act, and you can never be too safe in the kitchen when you have little people running around, right?
True.
They're at this level, and the last thing I want is for this to fall off, or for it to be within their finger reach, and they come in and pull the lid off, or you know, God forbid, pull the whole pan off. I can rest it and vent it. And that's gonna allow the beans to get tender, but it's also gonna allow my sauce to start thickening. So now that we've had this covered for about 4 minutes, I'm gonna be careful to close this so that the steam doesn't burn my fingers. And lift this off, and look how beautifully, smell that.
Beautiful. Look at it. Nice and green compared to that.
Still so green.
Wow,
And
yes.
I bet you it's still crispy in the middle. And the sauce has still managed to thicken because we were able to vent that lid. Now the last step in this recipe is to add in the mushrooms. These are the mushrooms that we cooked earlier. We allowed to rest. We want all those awesome juices of the mushroom to impart that excellent mushroom flavor. Stir that in, and now you're gonna get that traditional brownish sort of color in a cream of mushroom soup. Now we're just gonna add a pinch of salt to top off that flavor and some freshly ground pepper.
Wow, now browning pepper is made easy.
Look at that, right? No
Just
more
with the
muscle. That's
press
right.
on your finger, on your tongue.
I can stop going to the
Yes.
gym now, just kidding. And that's it. We're gonna let this thicken for about 2 to 3 more minutes, and that is a lovely cream of mushroom soup. When we plate it up, here's my trick, my last trick. This is where I incorporate my Asian flair into it because I have been in Asia for 9 years. So there are some Asian flavors that I absolutely love. In a traditional American style, you top it with French fried onions. I'm actually gonna use bawang goreng. The fried shallots give it such a nice crunch at the end. This is what you top it once you plate it. Sprinkle that bawang goreng on top, and you've got Malaysia meets America.
Wow, fantastic. Just like this eco pan, East meets West.
That's right, exactly. It's perfect.
Yes, just like us. East meets West.
Again, I just want to point out the fact that absolutely nothing is stuck to the bottom of this
you
La
can-
Gourmet
yeah,
Eco
you can
Pan.
see
Nothing
nothing.
is stuck.
So clean,
Imagine the cleanup is going to be so simple. And again, when you're cooking for the holidays, you have a lot of pots and pans going on in that kitchen, a lot of cleanup generally, but this reduces my cleanup time. All right, now it's completely thickened up our sauce and it's beautifully finished. I'm actually going to pick out the thyme sprigs. We don't want any stems in here.
Yes, correct.
And absolutely, thank you. And we're gonna try to find these bay leaves. And that is done. So shall we plate up?
Yes.
And I want all that nice cream in here. Scrape this out. And see, this is why I still have to go to the gym, so I'm strong enough to lift it. Hey, and again, the magic, my special twist, my Malaysian twist, is to add in the bawang goreng, or the fried shallots. How beautiful is that?
I'm waiting to taste it.
There we go. Green bean casserole made all in one pot using the La Gourmet Eco Pan.
So, Kitchen Shop customers, you can now learn this green bean casserole dish, fresh and natural, all the way from America, for our beautiful Sissy. Thank you so much, Sissy.
Thank you, Jean. Thanks for having me. It's my pleasure. I want, some of that creamy sauce. It's thickened up so beautifully. And it's not that ugly gray color of the
And
beef.
this thing is crunchy.
Is it still crunchy? It's tender but crunchy, right? It's still crisp.
I can't believe it. It's tender and yet so crunchy.
You're not gonna get that from green beans from a tin. They're just mush.
And now let me taste the mushroom. It has a velvety taste.
Approved?
Approved. Absolutely. Absolutely. You gotta teach me how to make mushroom soup.
We're on.
Thank you so much, Sissy.
Thank you so much.